How dangerous is the Dark Continent really? The real dangers, the fallacies, the feats, the calamities, the origin of many evils, but also of great power. Chimera ants, S-rank monsters. What is the secret of this continent, and why is Beyond Netero so interested in it? Are abilities like Nanika's common there? For those who master it, it's a huge dilemma, and soon it will be resolved. So are you ready? Let's embark together on this grand adventure called the Dark Continent. But first, real quick, I just ask you to subscribe to the channel, activate the notification bell, and drop a like. The Dark Continent of Hunter x Hunter is one of the most intriguing and enigmatic elements of the universe, created by Yoshihiro Togashi. Ever since its mention in the story, it has captured the imagination with its mystery and unparalleled danger, becoming the ultimate setting for the greatest adventures and the greatest risks. This territory is described as a vast expanse beyond the known world's limits, surrounded by perils that challenge both the strength and intelligence of explorers. The untouched and mystery-filled continent symbolizes human ambition and the desire to push beyond limits, but it also serves as a severe warning about the consequences of confronting the unknown without proper preparation. And let's be honest, without an advanced Nun ability, you wouldn't even stand a chance. Just by mentioning some of the names in this video, you'll get a pretty good idea of the sheer power involved. Isaac Netero, for example, ventured into the Dark Continent in his youth, likely at the peak of his strength and abilities as a Nun user. He was one of the most formidable hunters of his time. In the world of Hunter x Hunter, the Dark Continent is not just a region. It's practically a concept of absolute challenge. It is located beyond the Forbidden Sea, a zone filled with natural hazards and monstrous creatures that guard the continent's borders. Even the journey to the Dark Continent is an extraordinary feat, as the sea itself presents nearly insurmountable obstacles. However, for those who manage to overcome this initial barrier, the real challenge begins upon setting foot on the continent. There, the dangers are unlike anything humanity has ever experienced. The creatures that inhabit the Dark Continent are categorized into threat classes, many of which are considered beyond human comprehension. A notable example is the Class A creatures, so powerful and hostile that even the most skilled hunters in the known world hesitate to face them. But here's a question. If the Chimera ants, which gave the Hunter Association immense trouble, were only ranked as Class B threats, and the currently identified calamities, of which there are 5 so far, are ranked Class A, then just how powerful would an S-rank threat be? There is little doubt that something of that caliber exists there. And speaking of power, what about Don Freaks? Considering that S-rank beings would be unimaginably superior to the calamities, capable of threatening all of humanity or even altering the very laws of nature, it raises an even bigger mystery. So far in the story, there has been no explicit mention of S-rank threats, making this category shrouded in secrecy. Don Freaks, the legendary explorer of the Dark Continent, remains one of the most mysterious figures in the series. He is referenced as the author of a journal divided into 2 parts, the East Edition, which is already known, and the West Edition, which is lost and supposedly contains even more detailed information about the continent. What we do know is that Don Freaks has lived in the Dark Continent for hundreds of years, which implies not only an unusual level of power and survival skills, but also extraordinary physical and mental resilience. His true strength is a great mystery, since he has never been directly shown in the story. However, considering what he accomplished, surviving in a land filled with Class A threats, exploring it, and documenting his discoveries, it's likely that he stands at the absolute peak of the most formidable individuals in the Hunter x Hunter universe. Perhaps he is one of the few who could even come close to an S-rank threat, if such a ranking indeed exists. Figures like Beyond Netero and members of the Hunter Association reference Don Freaks' work when planning their expeditions. His notes serve as a basis for predicting the dangers and challenges of the Dark Continent, though much remains unknown. The East Edition is a collection of detailed notes by Don Freaks about the eastern part of the Dark Continent, containing descriptions of creatures, phenomena, and hazards in that specific region. The work is highly respected by the Hunter Association and other scholars attempting to understand the Dark Continent. However, it only covers a portion of the continent, making it an invaluable but still incomplete resource. The West Edition, on the other hand, remains undiscovered. It is speculated that this volume contains even more impressive and detailed information about the Dark Continent's western region. Its existence is only theorized, and the fact that Don Freaks never returned to the human world raises the possibility that he may have stayed on the continent to continue his exploration. Could we see Jing or even Gon gaining access to something exclusive due to their lineage with Don Freaks? Who knows? It's certainly a strong possibility. Ultimately, we are talking about events in the Dark Continent, where figures like Isaac Netero, the legendary president of the Hunter Association, have ventured. He was one of the few known individuals to explore the Dark Continent, and his exceptional experience and abilities made him one of the rare beings capable of facing its challenges. However, even with all his skill and determination, previous expeditions to the Dark Continent were marked by significant losses, revealing just how lethal this place truly is. Beyond Netero, Isaac's son, continues to seek the Dark Continent with grand ambitions, defying restrictions in pursuit of resources and knowledge. Beyond's quest for answers and wealth reflects both human curiosity and the recklessness that can arise when confronting the unknown without fully considering the risks. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Dark Continent is the diseases and natural phenomena found there. Poisonous gases, plants that absorb living beings, and extremely intelligent and hostile creatures are just a few examples of the threats that make the Dark Continent the most dangerous place in the Hunter x Hunter world. Additionally, the continent is governed by natural laws that defy logic and known science, creating an environment where even known abilities, widely mastered by skilled hunters, may prove inadequate for survival. The Dark Continent tests not only the physical and mental strength of an explorer, but also their adaptability and creativity when faced with never-before-seen challenges. Books and records in the Hunter x Hunter universe mention the Dark Continent as a place of both wonders and nightmares. It is described as containing indescribable riches, such as technologies and natural resources that could revolutionize the known world. But these riches come at an extremely high price. Every expedition to the continent is marked by near-total losses, with very few survivors and limited information returning to the human world. Still, the Dark Continent remains a symbol of the spirit of adventure and the relentless desire for exploration that defines hunters. It represents the human drive to go beyond, to seek what is out of reach, and to risk everything for the promise of discovery and innovation. The philosophy surrounding the Dark Continent is also significant. It questions the limits of human ambition and raises concerns about how far we should go in our pursuit of knowledge. Some of the best lines in the series address this theme. Beyond Netero, for example, says, "It is at the frontier of the unknown that the true meaning of humanity resides." This vision encapsulates why the Dark Continent exerts such a powerful fascination on explorers, even though it is clearly a deadly territory for the vast majority. The Dark Continent also serves as a reminder that the world of Hunter x Hunter is much larger and more complex than initially presented. It expands the horizons of the story, offering a dimension of mystery and danger that challenges the abilities and beliefs of the characters. Despite all the risks, it continues to attract those who seek the ultimate challenge, those who wish to transcend the limitations of the known world and achieve the impossible. Overall, the Dark Continent in Hunter x Hunter is a powerful symbol of ambition, mystery, and danger. It encapsulates both the human desire to explore and conquer and the warnings about the dangers of crossing limits without full understanding. Through its creatures, natural phenomena, and stories of explorers, it remains one of the most fascinating and deadly elements of this unique universe. As such, the Dark Continent continues to capture the imagination and challenge the courage of those who dare to dream beyond the known world. Powers like Nanika's, which can indeed be considered as originating from the Dark Continent, suggest a connection, as a member of the Zoldyck family has already been there alongside former Chairman Isaac Netero. Zig Zoldyck, a member of the renowned Zoldyck family, is said to have accompanied Isaac Netero on one of his journeys to the Dark Continent. As part of one of the most powerful and feared families in the world, Zig's participation suggests that extremely advanced abilities are necessary even to attempt exploring these lands. However, details about Zig's journey, as well as the information he brought back, remain scarce, maintaining the mystery surrounding his survival. It is worth remembering that some beings and threats from the Dark Continent have made their way into the human world. This includes the Chimera Ants, which led to the Chimera Ant Arc, one of the greatest and most dangerous crises faced in the human world. Although they are not explorers, these creatures can be considered returnees in a way, as they escaped from the continent and brought chaos to the known world. And thus, dangers like Nanika and what she is capable of emerge. Nanika, the mysterious entity residing within Aluka Zoldyck in Hunter x Hunter, possesses incredibly powerful abilities, making her one of the most enigmatic and fascinating characters in the series. Her level of power surpasses almost all known abilities in the manga's universe, as she can alter reality with her wishes, depending on the conditions she imposes. When Gon was gravely injured and on the brink of death after his fight against Neferpitou, he suffered irreversible damage to both his body and Nun. The situation seemed impossible to reverse, but Killua Zoldyck sought Nanika's help. Nanika then fulfilled an extraordinary wish, completely healing Gon and restoring both his body and Nun. This act of healing was something no other known ability in the world of Hunter x Hunter could accomplish, demonstrating the unparalleled level of Nanika's power. The extent of Nanika's power is vast. She can grant practically any wish, but there are rules and consequences. After a wish is granted, the next 3 requests Nanika makes must be fulfilled. If someone fails to meet these conditions, severe punishments follow, including the potential death of the requester and many others connected to them. These rules make Nanika's power extremely dangerous and often impractical for common goals. Furthermore, Nanika's bond with Aluka is fundamental to how she operates. Killua, as Aluka's closest brother, is the only one who can interact with Nanika without facing deadly consequences. This is unique in the series universe and reinforces the emotional and familial complexity surrounding this entity. Perhaps even Don Freaks has something similar, allowing him to survive in constant danger for so long while writing extensively about the cruel and perilous Dark Continent.